So in this lesson, we'll see a very interesting variant of the concept of opposition known as distance opposition, a very important concept. So let us analyze the position a bit to see what is happening. White is a pawn up and wants to promote the pawn. And in this position, it is black to play. So let us say we'll make just a few moves and see what is happening in the position. We'll play some natural moves, assuming that we are not aware of the concept. So let us say king comes here and I immediately take a position. So this position is losing for black because I will keep taking the position and finally black has to give way, allowing white to go forward. King goes back, I take a position and the king has to make way. And I play this, this, this. And here it's an interesting position. It's a very small trap because if I push the pawn here, it becomes a stalemate. So have to be a bit careful here. There's a way to win here also, but for that you have to play the king again to b6. King goes here, and I have to go to the corner, and now I push the pawn. Okay, so king finally has to come out, and I take the king to a7 and promote the pawn and win the game. Okay, so again we saw back to the starting position. If we are making some natural moves, the game is winning for white, who has the only winning chances because of the extra pawn. Black, of course, as we see, doesn't have any material except the king. So we'll try some other move for black also. Let us say I go directly to b7. Still, now since we know that instead of pushing off the pawn, we know the concept of taking a position, which is king b5, and again the position is lost for black immediately. Black gives way, I go forward, and again I take a position and I push the pawn. King goes here, push, and we have the same position that we reached in the last variation. The king has to go out and I am able to win. Sorry, I've been trying to move white while it is black to play, and I promote. Okay, so it looks like no matter what black does, the game is losing. Okay, so go back to this position. Now, here we'll get introduced to the concept of the distance opposition. So black uh, has to be a bit smart about it, and black has to stay in the last rank only, waiting for white king to step forward and then only take a position. So in this case, I play the only saving move of the game, which is king b8. And now we'll analyze this to see how black can draw the game by keeping the opposition. So if the king comes to b5, come to b7, and though the white king is in front of the pawn, but black has the opposition, so white cannot make progress. I'll stay in front of the pawn. If the pawn goes forward, I go straight back. And now we are aware of this defensive technique that we have to oppose the king. And the final position ends in a stalemate. So using the concept of distance opposition, so black is able to save the game. So the correct move in this position is king b8. And the idea is to not oppose the king on your own initiative, but wait for the white king to step forward and then only oppose it. So we saw the position after king b5, and the same also happens if the white plays king c5. So again, the moment white kings step forwards, I take a position. On b8, I was ready to take the position. And again, there is no way for white to make progress. And if he pushes the pawn, of course, that becomes a draw. We already know the technique, and every time we'll end up with the same position. Okay, so in this lesson, we learn the concept of distance opposition. So black saves the game by being ready to take a position only when white steps forward. Okay, so a very interesting concept, and I'm sure it will be useful for you in your games. I'll see you in the next lesson.